Today we will go through 10.6d, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of surds. So please take out your class workbook and write down the learning target today. Firstly, we will distinguish the like surds and the unlike surds. So secondly, we will do the 4 operations of surds. So please write down on your class workbook. Okay, how do we distinguish the like surds? So you can see these 4 numbers, they contain the same number inside the surds. They all contain square root 3. Okay, so these 4 numbers containing square root 3 are the like surds. But for 2 times square root 5 and 4 times square root 7, the numbers inside the surd form are different. Okay, so square root 5 and square root 7, they are the unlike surds. Okay, so these 2 numbers are the unlike surds. So how about these 3 numbers? We first need to simplify square root 8 and square root 18. Okay, simplify. Square root 8 will equals to 4 times 2. That means 2 squared times 2, and we have a square number, okay? So that it can be cancelled with the square root outside. It will become the 2 times square root 2. And for square root 18, 3 squared times 2, okay? So the square of 3 can be cancelled with the square root, so 3 times square root 2. So you can see all this number contains square root 2. So these 3 numbers are like surds. So some follow-up questions. Distinguish each of the pair are like or unlike surds. Part A, they are unlike, because 6 equals to 2 times 3, okay? No square number, so we cannot simplify square root 6. They are unlike surds. For part B, 2 numbers both contain square root 5, so they are like surds. For part C, square root 7 and square root 3 are different, so these 2 are unlike surds. And for part D, we need to simplify negative square root 32 first, okay? So it equals to 32 equals to 4 squared times 2. So the square of 4 will cancel with the square root outside. It will equals to negative 4 times square root 2. So we can see that both numbers contain square root 2, okay? So these 2 are like surds. Okay. Okay, after we can tell which are like surds, we can do the addition and subtraction of the surds. So for the first question, 2 square root 7 and square root 7. So both contain square root 7, so they are the like surd, and there's a 1 hidden here. Okay, and this means 2 times square root 7 and 1 times square root 7. So just like what we do in take out common factor, we take out the square root 7, and then it is 2 plus 1. Okay, so it equals to square root 3 times square root 7 times 3. So, and we can write down in this way. Okay, okay, so we just count how many of square root 7 are there in total, okay? 2 plus 1 equals to 3 of square root 7. And then second example, same. 4 minus 2 is equals to 2 of the square root 3, okay? Just like what we did in this. Equals to 3. But this time, it has square root 7, square root 7, square root 7, okay? But the unlike surd cannot be combined. For example, if we have square root 2 times square root 3 plus 3 square root 7. Okay, so these are unlike surds, so we cannot combine. Okay, some more example. Addition of surd. Simplify. So there are like surds containing square root 2. 2 plus 3 equals to 5 of the square root 2. Okay? And then, example 2, 45 equals to 3 squared times 5. Okay, and 20 equals to 2 squared times 5. So we cancel the square of 3 with the square root. We cancel square of the 2 with the square root. So we can simplify. And then they are like terms, like surds containing square root 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay, 1 square root 5. So we just write down square root 5 and skip the number 1. Okay, so these are the addition and subtraction of the surd numbers. Okay, now we move on to the multiplication and division of surd. So please have a quick review together about the surd properties. So if we have a multiplication here, the surd form can be distributed to both A and B. Okay, if we have a division here, the surd can be distributed to both A and B. Okay, so let's have an example. Simplify the surds by break down into the factors. Okay, so if we have a multiplication, we could combine the surd into, that means surd times surd can be combined into one surd. Okay, if it is a multiplication. Then we group together, okay, 2 times 2 group together for 2 square, and then for those square number, it can be cancelled with the square root, okay? So 2 and 5 are the square number, so it can be cancelled with the square root. Then the answer is 10 times square root 7. Okay, for example 2, find the factors breakdown of 180. So it is 6 squared times 5. Okay, and then we could distribute the square root to both of 6 squared and 5. And the square of 6 can be cancelled with the square root and come out of the surd. Okay, and then now you can see that 6 times 5. Here is times. And then square root 5 and square root 5 can be cancelled with each other because it is a division. Okay, so equals to 6. There is a method too you can do on this example. Okay, square root 118 is quite a big number, so that we could use the combined of surd in this way. Okay, and then 180 divided by 5 is 36. So you know that 6 squared is 36. Okay, 6 squared. So that equals to 6. Okay, there's an alternative ways to do this question by combining the surd and getting the number in the surd smaller for easier handle the question. Okay. Okay, and then some more example. Part A, addition of surd. Like surds. 3 plus 1 is 4 of the square root 3. Part B, we find the factors. Okay, square of 5 can be cancelled with the square root. Square of 2 can be cancelled with the square root. Then in this way, and then like surds, 5 minus 2 equals to 3 times square root 2. Okay, And part C, we find the factors to break down the numbers of surds. 12 equals to, okay, so we can try to combine these two numbers. Okay, so because it is a multiplication, we could combine the surds. So we equals to 2 times 2 times 3. Okay, and 21 equals to 3 times 7. So that you can see that 3 times 3 is 3 square. So the square number can be cancelled with the square root. So 2 and 3 are the square numbers. Okay? 2 square and 3 square can be cancelled with the square root so that it becomes 2 times 3. So the answer is 6 times square root 7. Okay? So one more question. So it is a subtraction of surd numbers. But pay attention. Okay, this one for square root 6, actually, it is a denominator with 1, so it is okay. We don't need to do the we don't need to rationalize the denominator. Okay, it's okay. We keep it. But for this one, we need to do the rationalize the denominator first. So do you still remember we multiply square root 6 itself again? Okay, so multiply the fraction square root 6 divided by square root 6, and square root 6 times square root 6, it means the square, so we cancel each other with 6. Okay, so it is a times here, so 3 and 6 will cancel each other, so it's square root 6 divided by 2. Okay, so after we have rationalized the denominator, then we can do the subtraction. Okay, so we rationalize the denominator and will become this one. Okay, and let's go on. So here we take out the common factor square root 6. Okay, we take out the common factor square root 6. Okay, so it is 1 minus 1 over 2. 1 over 2 square root 6. So 1 over 2 is square root 6 divided by 2. Okay? Okay, now you can have some more. Today's homework is exercise 10F. Okay, these questions. So in this video, I will go through question 27 with you. Let's take a look together. Square root 12 times square root 15 divided by square root 24. It is a mixed operation of multiplication and division. So first we can do by simplify the number combined together. So it will equal to 12 times 50 divided by 24. Okay, because time and division, we could combine them all together. So it equals to 25 square root. Okay, and then square root 25 is equal to 5, right? It is easy if we combine the square root together first. And of course, there are method 2 to simplify the surd one by one. Okay, square root 12 is equal to 4 times 3. Okay, so that is 2 squared times 3. And then 50, we can divide it by 25. So 25 times 5. Okay, that is 25 times 2. That is 5 squared times 2. Okay, and 24, we could divide it by 4. Okay, 2 square. 24 is 4 times 6. So it's 2 square times 6 square root. Okay? And then we could cancel those square number. 2 times 3 square root 3, and then 5 times square root 2, and then 2 times square root 6. Okay? And then we multiply. The numerator is 10 times square root 3 times square root 2 is square root 6. Okay? And because here is the multiply, so we can cancel the square root 6, and 10 divided by 2 is equal to 5. So method 1 and method 2, two methods will give the same answer. Okay? So this is the end of the video.